Hello, Quantum Leap callers. Happy Thursday. Super excited to leave you a message. It's Krystal. And it was interesting. I was talking with a consultant yesterday, and we were talking about time availability in our schedules. And I think I mentioned, that it's important that if someone is looking at your calendar, they know what your goals are. In other words, that your schedule reflects what it is that you're working towards. So I'd just like to visit about that because I think it's been a while. And, we have this awesome tool, Mary Kay, that's called a weekly plan sheet. So I'll just share with you how I navigated life with being a single mom and working my business and supporting myself with my business, and how that worked in and around me being in the classroom with my kids and prioritizing all of the things that were important in life. So first, I have a colorized scheme, if you will, to my plan sheet. And I would do because my children's schedule was different every other week, I would do a weekly plan sheet for each week. And I would map out what I wanted my week to look like. It was kind of like my worksheet, if you will. And my children's time was, orange and yellow because they're the sunshine of my life. You can have that be family time, however you want to do with that. But orange and yellow was my kids' time. Then blue was spiritual time. So whatever that is for you, if that is a walk in nature or it's a yoga class or it's your Bible study, whatever that is. So spiritual time needs to be on there as well. Maybe it's church on Sundays. And Wednesday night prayer meeting. I don't know what it is for you, but you do. And then purple was personal time, and it's really important to make sure that there is purple every day. And by the way, putting on your makeup doesn't count as purple time. It's something that, unless it refuels you. Purple time should be a refueling. So for me, going for a walk is purple time because that's refueling for me. It not only takes care of my body and it's important for my health, but it also refuels me to be out in nature and get my body moving. Gray is for errands that I have to do. So that's not really quality kid time necessarily. So, might have been a dentist appointment or something like that back in the day. Excuse me for coughing. The other is brown, and brown are chores that have not been delegated to someone else. So I had a housekeeper. Of course, all of my children's growing up, she would come in and do the heavy lifting, cleaning, and then I would just do the tidy up part of that. Grocery shopping would be brown because I haven't delegated it to somebody else until I delegate it to somebody else, right? Other JOB is black. It's just time that you are not in charge of. Somebody else is in charge of that if you have another job that you work for someone else and they determine your schedule. Then, of course, we've got your Mary Kay time that is non-income producing is pink. And that's important to have. You've got to have office time. And part of your office time is once a week is you mapping this weekly plan sheet into your calendar at least 2 to 3 weeks out. So that way you can map out where you want the things to happen in your life. See, what happens for a lot of people is they're like, oh, I have this, and then they're trying to make things fit in and around it instead of saying, oh, these go on this day. Like when I had doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, all of the things, orthodontic appointments with the kids, all of those things. I did my best to choose one day a week that was for those things. That way it didn't mess up my whole week. It didn't mess up a multitude of different days. I had one day that was kind of my flux day, and that was the day that I would schedule all of those things for. I will let you know a lot of doctor's offices and dentist offices and orthodontist offices are closed on Fridays or Friday afternoon. So it's best that it not be that day, just so you know. Excuse me. Then we've got income producing green time. I had 2 shades of green. One was for my phone time that was actually scheduling the appointments. Nowadays, it may be texting, it may be messaging, however you are actually getting the appointments up on your books. That could be either a light or a dark green, and then your actual appointment time is a light or a dark green. Perhaps customer calls would be a light or a dark green. So you decide how you want to navigate that part, but having different shades of green for the income-producing part is super important. What I noticed, and the reason why we started doing this, is because I noticed that a lot of consultants had green space that they would highlight to say, I'm going to hold appointments on Tuesday at 7. But they never scheduled in the booking time to fill that appointment time slot. So it's important that you not only have the actual time that you want to hold the appointment. And by the way, you schedule ahead of time when you're holding those appointments. And I'll share with you some little Scooby clues of what I did in my calendar, and you got to figure out how it's going to work in your calendar. But then also the actual booking time or the scheduling time for filling those appointments is vital. What I found is that consultants wouldn't have that, so they had empty green spaces. Well, an empty green space means you're making no money. What I did for myself when and it was different in different stages of my life. When my little ones were little, when my kids were little, I would hold appointments during the week. That happened to work well. The marriage that I was in at that time with my children's father, weekends were off limits. I couldn't work on weekends. And I'm going to tell you, we became a Cadillac driving unit without me working weekends. So it is possible to have have your schedule work however you need it to work. I would do 2 appointments on Wednesday night. So I had my Monday night success event. Tuesday night, I was off. Wednesday night, I had 2 skincare appointments. And Thursday night, I had 2 skincare appointments. Now, my kids were little, so that didn't take time away from them because I was with them all day long. And then, of course, that was my schedule. So that's how I fit in the adequate number for my goals into my schedule at that time. When my kids got older and they were in school and they were gone all day, I didn't want to be gone every evening, or 3 out of 5 evenings. I didn't want that, even with weekends. That was not what I desired to have. So I changed it. I had my Monday night success event, and then I would hold 2 appointments on Saturday and 2 appointments on Sunday. My Sunday were in the afternoon. My Saturday were in the morning and early afternoon. That way I still had Saturday night. I still had most of the day Sunday, and I had my evenings. Now, if I had someone that needed an evening appointment, weekend was just not a possibility, then I would give them the option of Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I would schedule either Tuesday or Wednesday. If anybody else needed an evening, then I would put extra bookings into that same time that I had the other person, the other hostess. Because I would do multiple bookings in a time slot, because I wanted to make sure that whatever I had held out, I was holding appointments during that time. It wasn't just held out and then we'll see what happens. For sure, I would be holding an appointment. Now, with being able to work virtually, you can book multiple people in. It works great. There's lots of options around that. And you are home in the evening. You are home on the weekend. You're just working from your computer. It takes significantly less time, less travel, less packing up. So it's still a really great option, even though it may or may not be required because of COVID now. Of course, the other benefit is people can invite people from all over the United States instead of limited to your area where you live. So that is green time. Then, of course, we have red time, and that's to move into your red jacket. It used to be a red car, so that was for sharing appointments. Now, the sharing appointments I got to be a little bit more flexible on. So I would have one group sharing appointment once a week, and then I would have individuals that I didn't pre-lock out. I just knew I had little nooks and crannies that I could fit those in. So that's kind of how I worked with those. And those were red for moving into red jacket, moving into leadership. Those were sharing appointments. So that's the basics of planning it out. In conclusion, what I really want to wrap up for you is it's important that you decide when you're holding appointments and then fill those times. If you're booking an appointment and you're like, when's good for you? they know you're not busy, and they're going to put you out months away because they think they won't be busy months from now. So instead, when you're scheduling the appointment, awesome. I have an opening. What's better for you, the beginning of the week or the end of the week? She says the beginning of the week. Or actually now what I'm saying is during the week or on the weekend. And then she says weekend, awesome. Saturday or Sunday, better. And she says Saturday. I says, great. I happen to have a Saturday appointment available. I have an available spot in this one. Do you want to grab it while it's still open, while I still have space? So that way they can take action right away rather than waiting. So weekly plan it out on a plan sheet. Then I would pre-highlight it into my date book. If you're using an electronic scheduling, awesome. Then highlight it into there. Part of the reason that I'm sharing with all of this with you is because we have 24 hours in a day. If you sleep for 8 hours and you work another job for 8 hours, Monday through Friday, then that means you still have 8 hours left, Monday through Friday, to split between the things that need to be accomplished, dentist appointment, hair appointment, kids, family, dinner, travel, those kinds of things. Even if you took 4 hours for all of those things, you still have 4 hours left, Monday through Friday, each day. That's 20 hours that Mary Kay can fit into the nooks and crannies of your life. Part of the reason that I'm sharing this is because not everyone is familiar with working and setting your schedule and filling that time and being in charge of that time. And so this is a new practice for a lot of people. On weekends, if you don't work weekends, say for example, and you sleep 8 hours, you still have 16 hours left, or whatever your days off are. You have 16 hours left. Maybe you have a schedule that you work 3 12-hour shifts. Awesome. On those 4 days you're not working, if you sleep for 8 hours, you have 16 hours left each of those 4 days. So what I'm saying is we can get sucked into the belief that we are too busy, and we wear busy often as a badge of honor. And I'm wondering if we scheduled our time, we're in charge of our time instead of just reacted to whatever comes up next. If we might find that there are places in our life for a pause, for moments of relaxation, of breathing, not from exhaustion, but I'm scheduling time for me because I get to do that. So it's to give you a different perspective on your schedule and who's in charge of it and how you can navigate adding something like Mary Kay, either as a side hustle or maybe this year you have bigger goals and you're trying to figure out how am I going to fit that into my life. Well, perhaps this would give you some tools to do so. So my hope is this supports you. Have the most amazing day. Hugs to you.